Hey everyone, Kathy Iconis here, ready to get started on our webinar for today on the Bookkeeper's marketing plan. So I am excited to share all of this with you guys. It has definitely been, I feel like this is something that a lot of bookkeepers could benefit from or will benefit from. It's something that uh, we're not, as accountants and bookkeepers, we're not really comfortable with the marketing side of things. Um, and we're usually like in the books doing all of that. So it can be difficult, right? So I feel like this is an important time to come out and let's talk about marketing and get together some sort of plan so that you can help improve your practice and make it what you want it to be. Okay? So let's kick off. I feel like we got everything going. Okay. I'm just checking everything on here. Looks good, guys. Okay. So we're going in and we're going to talk about what are we talking about today, right? Um, so today the agenda for the marketing plan is we're going to go through these steps of describing your business. What is the sales process? How does that, what does that look? All of that. Marketing analysis. What or market analysis? What is going on in the world that is impacting our businesses, our practices? SWOT analysis, marketing objectives, understanding what those are, making goals, and then really getting together a plan. What are we going to be doing? Are we going to be doing some inbound marketing or outbound marketing? And what kind of stuff can we be doing and what's important about that? Okay. And then measuring success at the end. There's no point in doing all of this without, being successful or trying to be successful with it, right? Otherwise, it's just a waste of our time. So, let me start with a little bit about me. Hi, I'm Kathy Iconis. I am a CPA and I'm also the CEO of Iconis Group, which we are an outsourced bookkeeping firm. Me. It used to be a we, it's just a me. Okay. Yeah, I have my own bookkeeping firm practice. I am 100% on QBO with my clients and and I love it. I'm like I've been doing this for 10 years, okay? And I have this passion for QuickBooks Online and that then um fueled me to do more. So if you know anything about me, I'm a big social media, big Twitter person, Facebook, all of that sort of stuff. And that's how I learned how to connect with people and market myself, to really get out there and get clients and grow my practice and all of that. So, about 6 years ago, I started a weekly Twitter chat for QuickBooks Online users. And that has been going strong for this whole time. Every Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern, you can join us on Twitter using the hashtag QBO chat. We have different topics every week. And it's a great community of bookkeepers and accountants, app uh, employees and marketers and Intuit employees, everyone connecting and learning from each other. And it's amazing. And I wanted to keep on growing that, right? I, I have a passion or I got here because of my accounting knowledge, but I really have a passion of connecting people and helping people grow and building a community and all of this sort of stuff. So with QBO chat, just the Twitter chat was the beginning. And then I grew it into a website. So there's a lot of resources available there and everything. And then last year, I realized that my goals for my firm have never been aligned with who I am and my truths pretty much. So I always wanted to grow this practice that had like all these employees and a lot of revenue and everything. And then I sat in on a session at QuickBooks Connect on building $1 million practice, and I had friends on the panel, and I'm sitting there listening to them, and they are running a business. They're not doing the bookkeeping anymore. They're running the business, right? And that kind of, I realized it was getting me away from my passion. My passion is really QuickBooks Online, knowing, understanding every little bit of it, helping people understand it, all of that sort of stuff. So it, while I had this idea of what I wanted my practice to be, really who I am and what I want is not that practice. So I was misaligned with those goals for so long. I felt like a failure. Um, it sucked. It like I saw all these people starting their practices after me and growing and going, what's wrong with me? Why isn't this working? Well, it wasn't a good fit for my personality. So that realization led me to starting the Facebook group, Build Your Best QBO Practice. And it's really about building a practice that's good for you and aligning those goals with who you are and being comfortable with that, you know? I don't want anyone to feel like a failure. And, you know, it's like my shameful secret for how long I just felt, yeah, crummy. Like I just wasn't adding up. While I was getting recognition from Intuit and all these other places, everyone loved QBO chat. But when it came to my practice and growing it, I felt like I sucked at it. So, yeah, switching things up and moving things around, I've really been able to embrace what I like, and I'm able to grow a practice from there. Okay. So obviously, knowing that knowledge and everything, I have gone into doing a lot more training for bookkeepers and accountants. I want to help bookkeepers and accountants be successful. And I want you guys to find your practice, but I want to be able to give you as much knowledge as possible so that you can get there, right? I'm not going to tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't do. I'm not I'm not that person. Okay, there's a million and one uh, different things that you can do for your practice and to build what you want. I just want to show you them and help you get there. So yeah, last year I started these trainings. Most of this is actually a new one. I'm doing a webinar today, and before that, I've been doing master courses, and master courses are month-long courses that I hold in a private Facebook group where we have 6 training sessions. You get support from me for the entire month, and we cover a topic or the course, all the material in the course. So I have an intro to QBO for bookkeepers course, a QBO month-end master course, QBO cleanup master course, and advanced QuickBooks Online principles course. So I've been going strong with those for almost a year now. And this is just, I'm continuing to grow. And, my next step is webinars and sharing all this other information that I have. So let's kick it off and let's talk about building this marketing plan. Okay. So first, we want to describe your business and your services. Okay. If you haven't heard of Simon Sinek, you'll hear it. Once you hear it once, you're going to hear about him 1,000,001 times. He has this video on what is your why? Why are you in business? What are you doing? Like, what is your core? Okay. And so I've linked that here. You'll see too, I have all of these handouts, I have 2 handouts available to you. And I have a PDF of the slides. That PDF should still provide you, when you click or hover over these, the hyperlinks, it should get you to those places. Okay. So you want to figure out, why are you doing what you're doing? Okay. And really, what is your passion? Really be true to yourself, right? Then what are you going to do? What are you selling? I also listed, the other handout I have is a list of bookkeeping services. It's not all inclusive, but they're ideas of, here are things that I am doing for clients and how I add value, and what I'm selling. So, I mean, you can do things like, I'm more of an on the go Bookkeeper. So I touch my clients' books at least once a week, and I'm updating things as you go. You can do after the fact. So at the end of the month, you enter everything. You could have engagements that are monthly, where with something I do where I'm, like I said, on the go doing everything, and I do a month end close every month. It continues on, right? Or you could be a project person. Maybe you just want to do specific projects. You want to convert people to QuickBooks Online, or yeah, there's a million different ways that you can be in business, right? And then the next question is, how are you pricing this? Are you doing hourly pricing, fixed fee, or value pricing, or a combination of all of those? Nothing is the wrong answer here. Remember, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just showing you that there's options. And I'm a fixed fee person just because I don't like having the money conversation with clients. So I actually take out that hourly stuff because I feel like I'm going to end up fighting with the client about how many hours I spent on something. And then I do things really fast. I utilize technology to be more efficient. So if I see that I'm charging $150 an hour or $200 an hour, a potential client's going to freak out on me, right? Because they don't realize that I can spend a short amount of time on that because of my knowledge, my expertise. So it's not a good way for me to sell my services just by doing the hourly stuff, honestly. So I've done fixed fee. Value pricing, you can search the internet for that, learn more about value pricing, but yeah, that's another option available to you. So, and then let's look at who your ideal customer is. This has always been a thing, a problem for me, an issue for me to deal with, and to actually embrace. And I think that problem always was if I label who my ideal customer is, then I'm leaving out all these other people, right? I'm scared to say who my ideal customer is, because I don't want it to be like I can't take on these other clients. So here's the secret, the maybe dirty secret about this. The more specific you are about your ideal customer, um, the more people will be attracted to you. Okay. And there's going to be a fair amount of people that don't fit that ideal. So honestly, the more specific you are, um, the bigger the field of people that are going to be attracted to you. It's a weird thing. So if I say I'm an expert in interior designers, I'm still going to get people in other industries reaching out to me because they feel like, well, what she's selling and how she's selling it and everything is still something that I want in my company. And I feel like it's a good fit, right? So it might be some other, maybe it's an architect that then reaches out to you. Maybe it's some other, a painter. It expands, okay? But you want to be specific as to who your ideal client is, so you know, and you then this also frames what your marketing is, how are you presenting yourself to people, and where are you going, all of that sort of stuff. We'll see that later on. So let's talk about it. How much revenue does this business have? I always said that I feel like for people to hire me, they probably need to have over $100,000 in revenue. And we're probably, logistically, it might be too much for me to handle if they are over $5 million in revenue or something like that. So, or, shorten that span. Where are they located? Do you care if, do you want it in a specific region? Do you want, all the United States? Where are you going to, does it matter where your ideal clients are? I can say that while I have thought, hey, all over the United States is fine. I'm on the East Coast, so having someone on the West Coast can be difficult, just communication wise, because we have that 3 hour difference. Maybe that's an important factor for you. Who knows? How many employees do they have? What industry are they in? And what characteristics does the owner themselves have? What are they doing? Are they, are they younger? Are they baby boomers? Are they um, gamers? Are they, I don't know, I'm pulling anything out there. What kind of characteristics do the owners have that make it an ideal customer for you that you can connect with, like tech savvy or I don't know, anything, everything. Write this stuff down. Be really, really specific, okay? So let's talk about the sales process. And I'm trying to follow along because this is a lot of information. I'm trying to get this into 1 hour. So I'm checking where I am. Okay, a little bit behind already. So let's learn about the sales process, okay? And this is what we're doing when we're making this marketing plan. We need to think about this as like a funnel. How am I going to feed as much as I can into this funnel so that I end up with clients at the bottom here? Okay. So prospecting, it's really where am I going to find my potential clients? Those ideal clients, where are they hanging out? How can I find them? Um, and then how I am I going to connect with those people? What how am I going to get their attention? How are we going to have some sort of interaction, right? Um, I don't remember the number, but it's something like you need to have, maybe 6 to 10 touch points, connections, or um, engagements with someone before they're ready to buy. Okay. So just having one conversation isn't enough. It's how are you going to connect with them and grow that relationship with someone so that they are interested in buying and reaching out. And once they do that, kind of through this whole connecting process, you can evaluate if they are a good customer, potential customer for you, or if they're not. And be true to yourself as to who isn't a good potential client for you, because bad clients are going to cost you so much more in your practice than the money you will get right now. Okay. It will cause you stress, heartache, um, take you away from finding other clients that are a better fit for you, um, and and could really hurt your practice. So if you figure out what things are no-goes for you, okay? Me, inventory, no go. I tried it. It was horrible. No, no go. Retail, no go. Um, Someone that's really pushy and wants things their way, no go. Not going to happen. You come into my process, you work through, like, the books go through my process. So those are some of those things, and have a plan for those people when they come in. Push them out and say, here's a better person for you, a better connection for you. I don't think we're a good fit. Get them out of your funnel because it's a waste of your time, and you will find the right clients for you through a funnel, a good funnel. Okay. Then present to them what you do. This is really, we get into the sales process. Hey, okay, so this person is a good potential client, right? They're interested in your services. We've gotten to that point. So tell them how you can help them, how you can make their lives better. Really reach out to them and show your value and how you want to help them. Okay. And then once they are ready to buy, how are you going to close this? Are you going to have an engagement letter, which I recommend, or some sort of contract, or how are you defining your engagement? What is the scope? You want to be very clear of what's part of the scope, what's outside of the scope, okay? Just so you don't get taken advantage of and run over, pretty much, because it happens. Again, you can tell all the things that happen to me pretty much. Like people can run over me pretty easily, clients do. So if I put more structure around an engagement letter or something up front, I have something in place to protect me. So I'm protecting myself. It is then my decision if I'm going to go outside of scope and not charge them. That's my stupidity. But I have something and I can rely and come back on and be like, well, our engagement letter says XYZ. So I can kind of blame it on that and then have the conversation, even though it was really me that wrote the engagement letter. Well, I had it approved by a lawyer, but still, like I made the rules, but you agreed to that engagement letter. So, hey. Then let's talk about market analysis. Okay. So we know what the sales funnel is, right? And now we're going to try to look at this and say, okay, what's going on in the market? We want to know, like, this isn't all about you. This marketing plan is not not all about your practice. It's about marrying up what's going on out there in the world with what you're doing. Okay? So, looking at the market analysis, let's look at what does the overall small business marketplace look like? What is that economy? What's going on? What do we see in the future? What what all is happening there? I have some links. Intuit did a study, Small Business by 2020 report. There's the first thing is a link to an article. The second, they actually have a website for it and some information on there. And then on there, there's also the accounting 2020 report. So what did they see accounting to be like by 2020? I know we're almost there, but it's still a good idea as to what's going on. Another thing you want to consider is looking at the investor calls or releases from Intuit or any other big company that you're utilizing, because you can really see, okay, how are they responding to small businesses, what's going on, and then how do they view you as the bookkeeper, pro advisor, helping out those small businesses. There's really a lot of good information there, trust me. And then we also want to go a little bit closer to you and look at a competitive analysis. So let's find your top 3 competitors, okay? And we want to find someone that's similar to your practice and that pushes you a little bit. You don't want to find someone that you think is you're better than, like far better than, because that's not competition, okay? You've already won that. Let's find something that'll push you a little bit. Let's find some companies that'll push you, that you admire what they're doing, and look at that. Okay, that's our competitive. That's our competitors. Here are 3 of them, and then we want to look at how do you compare to those practices. Okay, really important. Get their websites. Learn about their services. What are they doing? What do you like about what they're doing? What don't you like about their doing? Consider all of that. And then also we want to compare that back to you of what do you guys have alike and what is different? What makes you different and stand out? Because that's something you really, really want to harp on in all of your marketing of what makes you different. And why does that matter to a small business owner? Okay. And then keep an eye on these competitors. You want to keep on watching them, seeing what they're doing, where they're going, how they're changing. Because it can be inspiration to you to figure out what you want to do. I'm not saying copy what someone else is doing, but there's times where I've seen, oh, this company is going this way, doing this. And I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. I don't really want to go there, or what they're doing. I'm different from them. now I have a more, I'm more different from them. Or maybe I've done something and then I realize they picked up the same idea 6 months later or something like that, right? So just watch what they're doing. Use that as a little bit of a competitive drive for you to help make you better. Now, it's not like going out and bashing them or anything like that. It's not that. It's just internally for you to say, okay, here's where I am compared to some others, and how do I compare? Next thing we want to talk about is the the SWOT analysis. Now, this is something you can do even on your own. It doesn't even have to be part of a marketing plan or anything. Really, one of my favorite things to do. Such a dork. Did I mention I was a management junkie in college and still am? I just love the operations of business and everything. But so SWOT analysis. This is really strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Where everyone gets this wrong is the top row is everything internal. Okay, everything about your practice. The bottom row is everything outside of your practice. Okay, so when I ask people about opportunities, they sometimes talk about what's going on in their practice. Uh, and I'm like, no, no, no. Then that would be a strength. And we want to look at that as strengths of your practice. What makes you really strong? Okay. And what makes you weak? What are things that make you weak? And is that something you care to improve upon or not? There is some people will say, you take those skill tests and say like, well, I'm really weak in these areas. It's okay to be weak in some areas so that you can be strong in other areas or even stronger. Sometimes it's not worth spending time improving a weakness if you can improve your strength even more. Does that make sense? So sometimes weaknesses are okay. You just need to be aware of them. Self-awareness on this, okay? Let's see, one of my weaknesses, I don't like managing people or employees. I don't feel comfortable doing it. I don't feel like that is my strength, okay? So am I working on that? I tried for a while. I've given up. It's just me. I'm training. It's just me. Let's work on my strengths. Okay. Let's build that. And that's going to be a weakness, but I'm going to cut that out of my practice so that it's not a weakness in my practice. Does that make sense? Then opportunities. What is going on out there in the world that I can take advantage of, that I can grasp onto? Is a competitor going out of business? Okay, I want that, right? How can I take advantage of that? Let's see. What other opportunities am I thinking about? Let's skip over to threats because sometimes that's easier. Threats, like what things are going on out there that could negatively impact my business. Now, with the QuickBooks Live stuff that's going on right now, where Intuit is looking at offering bookkeeping services to new users, you can consider that a threat to your business, right? So some people do, some people don't. It all depends on what kind of practice you have, okay? If you consider that as a threat, how is that a threat to your practice? And what are you going to do to minimize that threat? Okay. So, if they're offering these services and you feel like you might not be able to compete on it, well, can you offer different services? How do you need to just drop doing some things and focus on other stuff? I don't know. But really, yeah, it's looking at internal, what is your practice? And then external, how are external forces impacting your practice or could impact your practice? And what can you do to plan for that and build strategies so that you can take advantage of the opportunities and you can avoid some of those threats. Now, when we are making goals and objectives for our practice, we want to be smart about them. I don't know if you've heard this a million times or not. Depends on the world you're in. Again, management junkie, I've heard this a million times. So they need to be smart, and that's the acronym here. Sometimes the words kind of might be a little different. I gravitate towards this. So we want our goals to be specific. What exactly are you going to do? Okay. Grow revenue. How? I mean, like double it, but yeah, like specific. Okay. Measurable. So I'm going to double revenue. Okay. Or double bookkeeping revenue or double training revenue or whatever. Attainable. Can this really happen? Are you really able to do this? Okay. And is this relevant to your business? Now, maybe you don't actually want to double your revenue because maybe your margins are such that you would end up with less at the end of the day, or the amount of effort it takes to get there negatively impacts what you get paid. So does it matter? Is that really where you need to go, or you feel like that's going to improve your practice? Okay. If you say like, hey, I am going to build this community of QuickBooks Online users, how is that going to help your bookkeeping practice? Is it? That was definitely one of those things where, yeah, I had this community and it had nothing to do with me providing bookkeeping services, and I couldn't connect the two. So I was trying to grow and get customers this way, but I'm getting all of the attention and growing this thing over here, this community organically, but okay, they weren't together. How do I get them together so that I can grow some sort of practice, right? And timely, when is this going to happen by? Let's talk about having some goals for the next year, okay? So that it's a good, reasonable time frame to look at. I feel like you have enough room to be able to accomplish things. But you'll see this at the end here that we still want to hold ourselves accountable, and how are we going to do that, right? Okay. Ooh, I caught up. Sorry, looking at my time frame. So I can spend more time on actual things that you do. So let's talk about, I'm going to talk about inbound marketing versus outbound marketing. Again, nothing is a perfect solution. Nothing is, I'm not going to tell you what's right for you or what's wrong for you. It's based on all of that information we've gotten before and what goals you have in mind and your ideal client and everything like that. That's going to impact what you do. Okay. So, and there's no perfect formula here. Okay. So inbound marketing is really drawing people to you. So I'm sitting here, let's say, just making people aware of me, knowing what I'm doing, and people are attracted to me and want to come do business with me. Okay. So they reach out to me, right? I'm not pounding the pavement to go find clients and all of that. They're coming to me from the efforts that I'm doing. Okay. So one of those things is you could have a website. Now, Not everyone has to have a website. I recommend it. Apparently, my Alexa just turned off. Um, but so blah blah blah, distraction. Um, so websites, there needs to be a purpose or a benefit from the website. Okay, you can't just throw up information about you and be done with it. How is this thing going to work for you? Okay, so how are people going to find your website? Like you can have a website just sitting out there, and no one ever go to it. So what's the point in that, right? How are they going to get there? I know for me, I do a lot of search engine optimization. So I show up very high on Google searches. And that is kind of my plan to get people to come to my website. That's, I'm just like, how do I get people to come to my website? Okay. Then there's other things like, are they the right people? Um, I will tell you that I'm trying to think of there's some articles on my site that generate a ton of traffic. Okay. And like one is converting zero to QuickBooks Online that someone wrote, and I have that on QBO chat. It brings a ton of traffic. Now, how does that traffic turn into business for me? Right? That's still something that I am evolving and working on. So I offer training. How can I help them? Those people that are coming to that article, what are they looking for and how can I convert them to a customer potentially? How am I guiding them through learning about me and learning about the site and what I offer to then reach out to me, right? So what are people doing on your website? I get Google Analytics on your site and look at what are your landing pages. So what pages are people um, coming to you from? That's where the Google searches and stuff happen. So I could see, hey, my number one is that article, right? So people are finding me on Google and coming to my site there. Then what are they doing on my site? Are they just reading that and going away? Um, are they exploring more? As just a typical user, if I'm looking at it, thinking about it, looking at, what I've done, how am I engaging that person in that article? Is it just information or how am I pulling them more in? Right? Do I get them in a newsletter? Do I have some sort of pop-up or some sort of information on that article about my training services, what I'm doing to say, hey, there's more opportunities for you, or here's some free thing that I can do. This all gets more people to come in to you. Okay. Social media. Again, you could do a ton of work on social media, but it could be a total waste of time. You really want to look at who your ideal customer is, where they are. If they're not on Twitter, don't spend time on Twitter. Okay. I just don't do it. It's not, you have a limited amount of time already to do marketing. And I know most of you would prefer to just be doing bookkeeping. So yeah, do what, yeah, find a place where your ideal customers are. Okay. And find a way to connect with them and really engage with them. So while social media is great and it's a great way to get customers, um, it might not, what you're doing on there might not be getting you any customers. If you are just um, sharing a whole bunch of articles, then that's not really going to get you anywhere. You're not connecting with anyone. Okay. Think about social media as like networking virtually, right? Um, so, how are you going to connect with them? Um, and then what makes them want to reach out to you. So when I started on Twitter networking, I really just started trying to build relationships with people, trying to share that I do have knowledge about accounting, but I am a person that I care about businesses. I want to help them, my passions, I have kids, all of that, right? I have a personality, anything that would attract someone to want to reach out to me and work with me. And that's what you want to think about. It's like, what is going to attract people to you? What do you do that will get people excited to work with you? Okay. So do that and make sure you're in the right place where your ideal customer is. Maybe that's LinkedIn. Maybe, they are on LinkedIn. Maybe they are on Instagram. Maybe where, what social media platform are they using? And where are they even? Are they in Facebook groups? Are they anywhere and everywhere? There's a million different places, right? So um, you want to know, you want the right people to find you, and you want to connect with them so that you can really like share how you can how they can benefit by working with you. Okay. Um, Public relations. So my friend Christy Dosh, I went to college with, she runs the Visibility Workshop. It's a Facebook group. She does a lot of PR and is amazing. Okay. The So definitely check her out if you want, more about PR. And it's really about, she talks about um it's great to be great at something, but if no one knows about you, what's the point, right? So that's where she comes from in the PR side of, let's get you out there so people know about you. Let's build your brand. Let's do all of that. But you know how there's like, you could get these press releases about your business, like, hey, I just started this business, or I'm now using this app, or whatever. Those press releases, are they really going to attract anyone to your practice? It might be something where you're doing it for search engine stuff to try to get people to come to your website. But is that worth it? Like, I, I don't think it is, honestly, but it could in some instances. It could be. Um, so how are you telling people who you are, what you're doing, all of that sort of stuff in a public setting? So are you doing speeches? Are you doing television interviews? Are you um, interviewed for newspapers? All of this sort of stuff. And are you doing it in a way that will then attract people back to your practice? Um, so one thing that a lot of people want to do is they want to do guest blogging in places, right? And guest blogging is great. It's a wonderful way to get your name out there and do stuff. Um, but you got to think about, how is that going to convert someone to come to me? That will bring someone into my prospect list and that I can engage with and all of that. Um, if you are just trying to think of examples, because I've done it a million times. Just I write articles for other organizations, and I've done it again over the 10 years that had really no tie into what I'm doing and getting people to come to me, right? So you want to make sure that there's some sort of link back to you, to your website or something, right? Some way for them to reach out to you, but also that it relates to what you do in your business. Um, so if you don't do any advisory services, don't talk about management and um, those types of things and whatever. If you talk about budgeting, if you sell budgeting, right? That sort of thing. So make sure there's that connection, because I feel like everyone kind of um, thinks, all publicity is good publicity. Okay, but I'm betting we're pretty small in practice and we want to get the biggest benefit out of things. Um, so I want to get the biggest bang for the buck out of this one. It's not going to be just anything, just throwing anything out there. Okay. Um, Now, outbound marketing. What things do you do? So you're going out there to get people and grab them in, right? Um, like getting in their face on things. So networking is one of those, right? I think that is the most traditional thing that a bookkeeper can do. It's probably one of the most effective if you are good at it. I suck at it. I have anxiety, and you get me in these positions, and I shut down. So it's not a good thing for me, but it's really effective. Okay. And then when you're networking, though, you want to, again, focus on where are you going to find connections to your ideal client. Okay. One, are you directly connecting to ideal clients? So are you, if it's an industry thing, are you going to their industry meetings and and connecting with them and growing relationships that way? Meeting them, setting up appointments, doing all of that, going out there and working it. Okay. Um, are you looking for referral sources? Are you working with other CPAs or lawyers, other people that could be working with your ideal client? But let me tell you, you don't want to be going out and networking with people that just want information and something from you. Okay? You got to realize when you go to some of these networking things, they're doing the same thing. They want to find connections to get themselves business, right? So you want to find relationships where they are helping you and you are helping them. It's not completely one-sided. I don't know how many of those one-sided relationships I have, but I have a few. So yeah, you definitely want to have it mutually beneficial. And honestly, sometimes it's better to just find places that are direct connections to your ideal client than those referral sources. Um, Sometimes people have success working with CPAs and getting referrals from them, and other times they don't. So it just is what it is. And you have to look past what people are saying to really, what are they actually going to do? Are they really going to refer anyone to me, or are they going to say that? Make it sound pretty, but they really don't. Um, Here's an example for me. I have those payroll providers reaching out to me all the time, and they want to help me um, because basically they want to get more payroll clients, right? Well, I have a really small boutique practice. I don't see a lot of new clients, so and I don't have a lot of turnover, so I am really of no benefit to them. Um, and that doesn't, like, I don't spend much time on that relationship because I know I can't help them, and then they're gonna feel like I'm a waste of time for them, so they're not gonna help me, right? Um, Now, if you have a lot of payroll clients and you have a lot of churn and new clients and stuff like that, maybe a payroll person is a good connection, because if you refer them someone, they're gonna refer you someone, right? Go back and forth that way. Um, Advertising. Again, what audience do you want to reach? What are you going to be putting out there? Okay. Billboards, Google Ads, um, sponsoring a local team. My kids are in softball and they're always looking for sponsors, right? And um, I'm like, well, I'd love to support them, but me providing training to accountants and bookkeepers, seeing a banner like that in the outfield, I'm like, I might get one person that might care about that, right? So it's just not a good match for me. Um, but I'll tell you, those dentists, children's dentists, orthodontics, all of those, that's where they need to be. They need to be on that field to um, market themselves and advertise to those people so that they're going to reach out, right? And then um, there's advertising, and then there's what's going to get the attention of my ideal client. If you think about the Super Bowl ads, how many Super Bowl ads are awesome and you have no idea who the company is? So was that really worth that $1 million+ for that, just the spot for the ad? Or was it wasn't the most hilarious ad, but I really want to work with them. I really know who they are and want to connect with them, that's probably a better ad. So those are things you want to think about when you're doing the advertising of, yeah, I could do Google AdWords and just do it everything out there, but I need to probably look at my market. Do I, people that are interested in XYZ, um, what does the ad look like? What am I saying in the ad? How are they reaching out to me? What is that whole process? So you want to think about all of that. Now, direct mail, I think, is a sleeper here. That one, because everyone is inundated with emails, direct mail could actually be pretty cool and could really get someone's attention if you do it right. So, how do you find your audience? Where are you going to get this list of being able to mail out stuff? If you're working in an industry, maybe if you are networking with the group of whatever industry it is, maybe you can get a list of the people there, or you buy a list from somewhere. Um, One thing is like when people do business licenses, there are organizations that will post the people that have just gotten a business license. Let me see. Okay, just have a couple minutes left. So someone that's just gotten a business license, and you can get that list and you can reach out to them. So it's very common. So first, it's like, hey, I just started business. So you get like all of these like ads and stuff, direct mail things coming to you. But do something that stands out that gets someone's attention. A form letter might not be it. Surprise them. But know that with direct mail, you have to send out a bunch to get some good leads, a small amount of leads. But that's just the game that it is. And I would say with any of this stuff, Google search it and find out what's the best way. What are some pitfalls that you have with these things, and how can I utilize these things to reach my goals, to do whatever I want to do with my practice, right? So measuring success. So we have these goals. Like I said, let's do 3 or 5 goals, marketing goals for the year of, what are we trying to achieve for our practice. Okay. And then remember, they're smart. So they are already measurable. They're already timely. We're going to do it like probably within a year, but we want to break that down even more. So what does that mean for me? Do I want to, so say I want to get 12 new clients in a year. Okay. Um, so that's about 1 client a month, right? So every month I'm going to do a check-in and see if I'm on track to reach that goal of, okay, if I'm kind of behind, or do I need to adjust my goal? Do I need to adjust the things that I'm doing to try to reach that goal? What's working, what's not working, and that sort of thing. Once you figure out what works, repeat it, but it takes a while to get there. Okay. and you got to keep on assessing where you are and what's working. And you might reach that point where you found something that works, but realize that that avenue, that process that you have might not work forever. So that's why, again, looking at that SWOT analysis, knowing that things can change in your industry, that your sales process might be impacted by that. And how are you going to address that? What are you going to do? Okay. Then also, how are you going to hold yourself accountable? Do you have um, buddies, like other CEOs and whatever, that you can chat with and hold each other accountable? And do you want to talk to your partner about that? Do you want to work with your employees about that? What are you going to do to hold yourself accountable and check in and make sure you're on track to where you want to do? And like I said, adapt. Be aware of what's going on around you. Be aware of your strengths, your weaknesses. Anything that changes in the industry could then create more weaknesses or strengths for you. Be aware of how you're different. All of this stuff, and adapt to that so you are reaching your goals. And if you need to adapt and change your goals, be prepared to do that. Don't be stuck in everything. But on the same side, I have seen it with several clients. You got to give some of these things some time to work. And you have to be 120% committed to make it work. But so there's got to be time to make it work. And then at what point, if I don't see the results, am I going to try something else? Okay. So think about those things, because I see a lot of people that, and myself included, I've started something and I didn't put enough time into it to actually reap any of the benefits off of it. I gave up too early. And then there's also things that I have tried for so long that are not working, and I really need to stop and look at what's going on and find a new way to reach my goals. Okay. So that is it. And I have 2 minutes left. Yay. So here's some ways to connect with me. Okay. One, join the free Facebook group, Build Your Best QBO Practice. There's a lot of questions about QuickBooks Online, what you're doing, how does this work, all that sort of stuff. But I try to also put in things like, hey, is anyone struggling? How can we help people? Those kind of posts as well. So think of it as your support group for building a practice that's good for you, right? Check out QBOchat.com. I have a lot of articles on there, a lot of resources. You can sign up for my newsletter there. There is a free guide on diagnosing the books that you can download. Tons of stuff on there for you. Follow me on Twitter, Kathy Iconis. I have that on there. Again, I have the Twitter chat every week, every Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern. So I am there for sure, but I'm also kind of hanging out. You might see me tweeting about The Bachelor. Who knows? And definitely check out some of my upcoming trainings, events and trainings. So I'm going to be doing more webinars, more one-off trainings, hour trainings like this, but I also still have those master courses that are those month-long courses in private Facebook groups that are awesome, and I love them. But they're great ways to get more knowledge about cleanup or month-end work, about accounting and bookkeeping work. So with that, that is everything I have for today. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I hope you got stuff out of this. I'm just checking to see if I have any questions really quick. I don't see anything. So again, that's it. If you have a second, download the handouts. So it's the PDF of the the slides, and then also the list of virtual bookkeeping services that you can do. So awesome, guys. Thank you for your time, and I hope to connect with you soon.